All right, so we have a new update from KMS. The user advisory group activity is starting. What is it exactly? Let's read. So we're notifying you about the beginning of the user advisory group's activity in May 2021, which we talked about with the which we talked about at the customer conference on April 11th. The user advisory group has begun activity to create a better MapleStory by communicating with customers about major changes in the game. True. This is the first time such activity has been attempted in MapleStory. We decided that it would be better to make decisions together through discussion, starting from the operation methods. Interesting. We had a meeting with the representatives of the customer conference on April 30th. Yeah. Oh, they're going to take those same people? We shared the stories which we discussed at the meeting, and at the same time we will notify you on how the user advisory group will operate in the future. Date April 30th. Oh, so that's already been done, including a 1 hour dinner. Damn. 6.5 hours. Boom. 10 members of the advisory group, 10 representatives from the customer conference, general director Kangwon Ki, operation team leader Lee Gun-woo, and Woo? Is it Woo? Probably. Event staff. User advisory groups, operation methods, and topics that need to be discussed with higher priority. Ooh. Okay. Customer advisory group's name has been changed to the user advisory group. Yeah, because they're users. They use the game like drug. As customers who care about MapleStory, we discussed about the user advisory group as a visual name so that we can give more focused opinion about the game. Sure. This group will be active for a total of 6 months until end of October. We discussed being active for a period of 6 months, long enough to discuss major changes to the game and to reflect on them. I wonder if that means that after 6 months there'll just be new people in there, or if they're just gonna like scrap it after 6 months. I hope they keep it, but just like rotate who's in it, because that's probably a good idea to keep like bringing in fresh eyes and fresh meat, right? Size of the advisory group has been expanded to a total of 10 people. As we officially announced at the customer conference week, first contacted the 10 customer representatives. They wanted to participate in the user advisory group, and they all decided to do so. Okay. I wonder if that includes the people that they had in mind that they like invited to be part of the player conference, but that were unable to come, or like, you know, because not everyone who showed up there was first pick, so bro passed the maple. We had an in-depth discussion how to select additional advisors to expand the number of members of the advisory group. We came to the conclusion that the selection process would require about 1 month of time. Since there are currently many problems which need to be solved urgently, in MapleStory we collect opinions that focus on fast problem solving. Would be a better decision right now. Good. Don't, just get started. You might not fix everything, but like, worst thing you could do is start by saying when you're actually going to start. Like, just start. Just, you'll have like a few things done at least, and you'll be making progress. And some problems might not get worse over time as a result. Therefore, we finally decided that the user advisory group would be 10 representatives of the customer conference. I think that they have proven that they will be able to represent users, and that they each are on top of the homepage rankings and have sufficient knowledge and experience in each field, and that they don't hold anything back. And once chosen as community representatives, can accept the opinions of many people. True. More than anything else, MapleStory's priority is to improve any problems which we shared at the customer conference. And so we decided that the 10 representatives of the customer conference would become the user advisory group. This was confirmed as the final composition. 10 users, bunch of Korean names, cool. Nice. Terabytes. For the next user advisory group, we will find a more reasonable plan for the selection and number of members based on the experiences of this advisory group. Do you think they'll ever put someone from an overseas region in there? Like, one person will be chosen from North America. Be like, that'd be hilarious. If they did that, then I will be truly shocked. During the advisory group's activity period, we will have at least one online meeting per month to discuss major topics. Prioritize major topics and make conclusions through in-depth discussion for each topic. The standard will be at least one online meeting per month and offline meetings. This is almost like reading the You guys ever had to do like meetings and then one person has to take notes at the end of the meetings to like just summarize everything that was important? We're basically just reading like the synopsis or something of the meeting. We notify students about the decision of development direction made through the monthly meetings. We will also inform you about how any information which was discussed. This is all pretty much just like laying the groundwork. In order to minimize any confusion about the core, if we share unconfirmed situations, we ask for your understanding that they may only provide detailed information when the development information becomes concrete or developed to a level where it can be immediately effective. Yeah, they're not gonna like throw things out there when it's not even clear yet how they're gonna do it, when they're gonna do it, how much work it is, or if it's interactive with some kind of content. They want to keep, you know, a surprise when it comes out. Doesn't mean that, you know, something is not going to be done just because they're not saying that it's going to be done immediately, but it also, yeah, sometimes they might want to keep things surprise, right? Let's share opinions with the user advisory group in advance about what information will be discussed. User advisory group will receive the development information necessary for discussion, and to prevent misuse of that information, we have established information protection methods at the same level required for next employees, such as account monitoring and information protection pledges. Right. So if there's something, probably some kind of NDA that they can't just go out and like share all of the proprietary information that they are privy to because of their position, that they just share it with their part of the community or something. Certain topics may be difficult to discuss without development information. In this case, we will provide necessary information and data to the user advisory group. This can be information used to accurately recognize current problems based on the past or present data information. So please understand, not everything is disclosed. Sure. Sharing of development information is based on trust and the advisory group's morality and responsibility, which means break it and you're kicked. However, in order to strengthen our mutual trust and the trust of many people who will support the activity of the user advisory group, they have agreed to procedures to protect development information. And also, I mean, in general, they're advocating better transparency, right? So anything that is that they would disclose to the player base anyway, they should disclose to this, and anything they're not going to be disclosing with the player base, probably most of that is not going to be disclosed here anyway. So before providing development data, the user advisory group will vote amongst themselves whether or not they will look at it. The user advisory group can reject any material which is decided to have information which could affect the usage of the game. The responsibility is reinforced through this, as they will decide if they want to see the materials themselves. Okay. Putting the power on their court. All members of the user advisory group have signed the confidentiality agreement. This information is development information of the game economy systems, taking personal at. This is probably supposed to be advantage at Tange, and disclosing information to others. User advisories group game usage records will be regularly monitored. Heard something. By next on, it will be checked constantly for information abuse. Good. There are 11 topics will be discussed with priority with the user advisory group. Interesting. They prioritize topics which need direction quickly. We prioritize. In the future, we will discuss together with the user advisory group to rearrange the priorities and notify information about each topic. In addition, we will add more topics which need discussion. I assume that all of these topics are just coming from the discussion boards, right? Like seeing which topics there are the most popular. You will go, Rafa? Yeah, we'll send you. You volunteers tribute. How to apply the additional options transfer ticket. Yeah, we heard about that. Basically, like moving the flame stats of one item to the flame stats of another item, so you don't have to completely go through all of the steps of rebuilding that item. Improve cube lines, which were set based on past standards, right? So like old potential lines that are no longer necessary. And I think that also includes the 20% boss lines in Legendary and moving those up to 30% instead. Boss rewards reorganization. So the first part we already saw, removing the cubes and the flames from bosses, at least in Reboot, and adding them to other sources, adding them to grinding instead. Which, why? Equipment enhancement, experience reorganization, Reboot world reorganization direction. So that's mainly talking about like changing the damage percentage to the final damage percentage, right? And how that's going to go. Test world operation method reorganization. So how the KMS test Piata test worlds how that works exactly. And I think the feedback system within TestPI is also something, and if they wanted to do them longer periods of 2 weeks or 3 weeks instead of just 1 week ahead most of the time. Discussion board reorganization, I already talked about that. Link skill reorganization, I think what they wanted to do is access to maybe like a few more link skills, but mainly I think increase the amount of switches you can have per day. Character growth experience reorganization. Something with leveling and not just with leveling, but more like guiding the player through the first 200 levels, so they don't hit like a giant wall when they like approach level 200, but rather they get eased into all of the systems instead of hitting that wall. Character growth experience, yeah, that's that. Formation of operation policy on proxy growth, that has to do with like logging into other people's account to train and boss for them. That's the thing that's in general allowed in KMS right now, but they're like considering how they would do that, how they're going to change that possibly because of possible abuse, of course. Solution to the meso inflation problem, that's a non-reboot meso market thing. We notified you about the discussion of the operation direction of the user advisory group we had together with the 10 members above. And future information about the decisions made through discussions with the user advisory group will be provided through notice on the homepage. The user advisory group, so the UAG. U a G. Nice. It says U a G, dude. We'd like to say thank you again to the 10 users to give their personal time to decide on the activity of the user advisory group. I think you would find thousands of people willing to do this, and not just like, just like show up and say that they're in it, but actually put in the time, go over these topics, do some research, come up with an actual opinion, and have a productive discussion about it. I think you will find a lot of people willing to do this, and it's kind of strange that it's taken this long for Nexon to like reach out and be like, hey, what do you guys think actually? Like, it's taken so long for them to do that, which is a little bit weird. All of the MapleStory developers will do their best so that the user advisories group activity can bring better changes to MapleStory. We're continuously listening to every user's opinion through the discussion board and customer center. So this is basically the equivalent of our forums, right? It really is up for question, like how impactful our specific forums are in GMS, of course, because a lot of the direction is coming just copy pasted over from KMS. There's some things that can be changed, of course, specifically for GMS, but there's very little, in the grand scheme of things, that I think GMS, as players in GMS, we can impact in the game itself. So hopefully, people in KMS also kind of looking out for us a little bit, maybe here and there. Would be cool. And so basically whatever forum posts are most popular there, whichever topics are most popular in the KMS forums, those will inform like these topics that will get sent to the user advisory group, and then they will have that discussion at least once a month on the direction that they can go for those topics. We ask for your support and expectations for the changes MapleStory will make in the future together with users. Thank you, MapleStory. So, yeah, overall I think this is pretty positive, right? Direct contact with the player base, with people who are actively hardcore playing the game, in different aspects of the game as well, right? So I think some of the people were like from dojo rankings, some people were just from level rankings, some people were, they should probably take someone from NX rankings, whoever spends the most money there. Should be kind of pay to win in that sense as well, I think. Because otherwise, how are you ever... You gotta add the whales in there, dude. Whales are paying for the whole dog and pony operation. But, yeah. What do you guys think? It would be really interesting to see, once we get an actual breakdown of all of these topics and where they went and what kind of action they're taking based on what was discussed during a meeting. That'd be cool to see. But for now, it seems like pretty much a breakdown of like, this is how it's, this is the structure of the meetings. This is like the people who are in there. This is how we will fuel the topics and everything. So it's more like an informational, before the first time kind of thing. But it seems like they'll basically do like a smaller scale kind of discussion that they had on the player conference. So not quite exactly the same forum, but like the same participants, and less open and less public, and hopefully less theatrics from both sides. You know, like the players were a little bit aggressive in some things, probably rightfully so. You know, considering the years of abuse, and of course the devs had to be very humble and apologetic towards everything because of, you know, the fucking drama. So hopefully it could be a little bit less theatrical and a little bit more to the point and getting stuff done. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more information on the actual outcomes, and then just the game moving in a healthy direction. But most of all, please, 64-bit client, and please fix our instability issue. I need this game to be playable, okay? I can't look myself in the mirror advocating for a game that just breaks every 2 minutes. It's becoming increasingly difficult. But yeah, let me know what you guys think so far and what you're looking forward to with this and what you hope this can accomplish for the game. And I'll hit you guys up when there's any other news coming out of Korea or GMS. Thanks for watching. See ya.